Good evening. Welcome to the September 2nd Ossining Village Board of Trustees meeting. This meeting is now called to order. We'll begin with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
Flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Trustee DeRio?
Present.
Trustee Herrera?
Present.
Trustee Codman?
Present.
Trustee Quezada?
Present.
And Mayor Garrity.
Present.
We have special presentations this evening. Would you like to start with Lieutenant Detective William Sullivan?
Yes.
Yeah, you.
I get to go first? All right, thank you, Chief. We'll wait till everybody can join us. Thank you. I love having a room full of the Ossining Police Department. We've had several occasions this year, so thank you all for joining us again for a very joyous occasion. Well, bittersweet, I suppose, in some ways. Okay. We have a proclamation here to officially, the board wanted to officially acknowledge as a token way comparison to all that William Sullivan has given to our community over the 42 years?
42 plus.
Okay, wow. Okay. So I'll read through this formal proclamation if we can. There's just so many wonderful things. We fit as many as we could on one piece of paper here. So, whereas Lieutenant William V. Sully, joined the Ossining Police Department on July 17th, 1973, as police officer and continued through the ranks to the position of Detective Lieutenant, and whereas Bill is a respected professional with the ability to balance the authority required to carry out his duties while maintaining compassion and empathy toward individuals. And whereas Sully is held in the highest esteem by his friends and colleagues for the leadership and professionalism he exemplified during his career in law enforcement. And whereas, after more than 40 years on the job, Detective Lieutenant Sullivan retired from the village of Ossining on August 14th, 2015. And we wish to honor Bill for dedicating a lifetime of service, protecting the lives and property of others. Now therefore I, Victoria Garrity, Mayor of the Village of Ossining, on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the residents of the village, do hereby recognize William V. Sullivan and urge all our residents to join us in honoring him, and do proclaim Friday, September 4th, 2015, as William V. Sullivan Day in the Village of Ossining.
Thank you.
Only 42 years. A rookie. A rookie. Sully and I go back to 42 years because I rode with him many times, shared a many midnight, shared a lot of laughs, almost shared condos in Cape Cod. Sully is an asset to the Ossining Police Department because his reputation all through the county has carried the Ossining Police. So no matter where we go, they say, oh, the Ossining Police, oh, Sully, how's he doing? And then we get everything we want anyway. So I congratulate you again and only wish you the best.
Thank you, Chief. I had the honor in working for the Village of Ossining Police Department for 42 plus years. I work with a lot of officers in this department. It's been an honor and a pleasure to work with all the men and women in this department. Other agencies that I've worked with, we've forged ahead. We've solved a lot of crimes through relationships that we fostered with other agencies. But as I go into my retirement, I will always be OPD blue. I'd like everybody to take a moment of silence for our brothers in blue who were recently killed in the line of duty in the last 2 weeks. Thank you. I'd like to thank the board for this honor and privilege of being here tonight, and all the citizens I've met through my career. I've made a lot of friends in the community, and I will still remain friendly and be there to help people when they need it. Thank you.
We'll move on
We
to
have
our,
to give her a chance to get up.
we'll move on to our crossing guard, Marion Shadeen. Who I've had the pleasure of knowing for well over 40 years. Yes, too long, you're right.
Well, it is certainly a pleasure to be able to honor you this evening. I know Marion Shadeen much less time than Madam Clerk was just acknowledging, and primarily because my children were not so long ago at Park School. And then she did call me last winter when she was concerned about some of the snowbanks in the area of Park School. And I do appreciate her attention to detail, her incredible dedication to our community. So thank you. And so we have a proclamation here to officially honor you and thank you for more than 30 years of service. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining recognizes individuals who have exhibited exemplary service and dedication to the community and acknowledges outstanding conduct which contributes to the quality of life in Ossining. And whereas Marion F. Shadeen began her service to the Village of Ossining on September 10th, 1984, and decided to relinquish her post after 30 years of service to the families of Ossining. And whereas, as a community, we are grateful to Marion for her work, and it is appropriate that she is recognized for her service and commitment to public safety and the well-being of the children of Ossining. Now, therefore, I, Victoria Garrity, Mayor of the Village of Ossining, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, residents, and merchants of the village, do hereby congratulate Marion F. Shadeen and proclaim Friday, September 4th, 2015, Marion F. Shadeen Day in the Village of Ossining. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'll miss you all. No.
Go ahead, tell them.
I'll miss you all.
The thing is that school opens tomorrow.
Yep.
Where are you going to be?
I'm going to be on the corner.
Making sure
Yeah,
that...
that whoever we have down there does their job right.
Could we say anything more? Marion, congratulations. Thank you for everything.
honey. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you. We'll move on to, yes, we do.
Now you got to get a resolution.
Okay, we're going to go down to Resolution D, Appointment Police Lieutenant Jeffrey W. Giorgio. Resolved, the County of Westchester Personnel Office has certified to the Village of Ossining list of eligible candidates containing at least 3 names from the permanent appointment position of Police Lieutenant, and whereas Jeffrey W. Giorgio is ranked on the aforesaid list of eligible, now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining, pursuant to the applicable provision of the Civil Service Law and the unconsolidated laws of New York, hereby appoints Jeffrey W. Giorgio to the position of Police Lieutenant of the Village of Ossining Police Department, effective September the 2nd, 2015, at an annual salary of $116,822. This appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 12 or no more than 52 weeks. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
on the board. Madam Clerk.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Right. That'll take. Hi. Oh, well, this is very exciting. It's a real pleasure to be here. And this isn't the first time you've been up here. Isn't the first time your family's been up here for this kind of honor. We're very pleased. If you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jeffrey Giorgio,
I, Jeffrey Giorgio,
being duly sworn, state on my honor,
being duly sworn, state on my honor,
I will never betray my badge,
I
it's good,
will never betray my badge,
my integrity,
my integrity,
my character,
my character,
or the public trust.
or the public trust.
I will always have the courage
I will always have the courage
to hold myself and others accountable
to hold myself and others accountable
for our actions.
for our actions.
Further, that I am a resident of the state of New York,
Further, that I'm a resident of the state of New York,
and I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of New York.
and the state of New York.
I will obey all the ordinances, rules, and regulations
I will obey all the ordinance, rules, and regulations
of the Village of Ossining,
of the Village of Ossining,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office
and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office
of Police Lieutenant
of Police Lieutenant
in and for the said Village of Ossining,
in and for the said Village of Ossining,
New York,
New York,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Thank you very much. And now we have, yep. Chief?
Okay, I guess I go back a few years with Jeffrey because Joe and I, his father, walked the beat down here before Jeff was born. So we know back a little ways. Introducing Matthew over here, pinned the badge on. His older sister and his younger sister are now at their Christmas present concert with the mother, so they can't be here. And his sister is all of 1 minute older than him, so we pick on him only a little bit. Very proud of Jeff. Jeff started in Mount Vernon Police Department. We let him get his feet wet in there, and then we dragged him kickingly up here. He didn't want to come out of there. And he's been an asset ever since. And we hope his career just keeps on flourishing, and we know that there's a couple of big cases pending that he has to try to solve. Here you go, Jeff.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Chief Burton, Captain Craven, Lieutenant Sylvester, Mayor Garrity, the Village Board, Village Manager Zambrano. Thank you very much for the promotion to Police Lieutenant in the Village of Ossining. I'm confident that I will execute my duties to the fullest. And there are many reasons. I'd just like to mention 3 tonight. The first one is I was taught by the best. I was lucky enough to be under Detective Lieutenant Sullivan for 2 years, and he taught me from everyday routine right to biggest hurdle. And I thank you for that. Second is the patrol force. You know, they're the face of the department. They're the ones out there every day. And for them to go out 24/7 is a great thing to see, for them to remain motivated to do the job in a competent and professional manner. Thank you. And last but not least, for me, is I chose the career I wanted. and I'm happy for that. And I don't regret 1 minute waking up in the morning, coming to work. And I'm proud to serve the village, and thank you again.
Can we take a 5-minute recess? Yeah. So motion for a 5-minute recess for photos? Sure. Yep. Motion?
I make a motion for a 5-minute recess.
Moved. Second.
On the board?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll take a 5-minute recess. Can I take some photos?
You're gonna.
All right, we're back in. Thank you very much.
And we'll move on to mayors and trustees announcements.
Thank you. I'll begin by reminding everyone what, if you've been watching or paying attention at all, you know that tomorrow is a very special day, and it's the first day of school for Ossining school children, and that means everyone should get an early start because either you are going to be getting to school and figuring out your school bus or figuring out how you're getting to school, or you may be on your way to work, in which case you'll be noticing there are a lot of big yellow buses on the road and a lot of children crossing the street, and I think Trustee Quesada may have more comments on that later, but just make sure you set your alarm for a little bit earlier tomorrow morning. And I will also make reference to an effort, an initiative that the school has been drawing attention to, which is the Attendance Matters effort and the importance of having regular attendance. It's very well documented that people who are chronically absent, which is who miss 18 days or more during the school year, tend to have lower they are not as likely to, in the younger grades, reach their expected reading levels, to be on level for reading, as their counterparts who attend regularly. And then as students get older, they're at much greater risk for dropping out of school. So we encourage parents. It's a tricky balance. Certainly if your children are sick, you don't want to send them to school, and the school has pretty clear guidelines on that. But when they're not sick, we want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to do their very best in school. So I wish everyone a wonderful year. And I will also let folks know that on Thursday, September 17th, which is U.S. Constitution Day, don't already have that in your calendar. And the Ossining Documentary and Discussion Series is showing a film called War on Whistleblowers. I encourage you to learn more about it at osseningdocumentaries.org. We have a screening every month. We watch the film, and after that we have a panel discussion. This month will be panelists who represent members of the press, as well as legal counsel for the American Civil Liberties Union. So please do join us, and that is Thursday, September 17th. As always, it is free. It begins at 6:30 at the Ossining Public Library in the Budars Theater. Deputy Mayor Herrera, do you have any announcements this week?
I do. Mine's that. Oh, okay. Mine's actually, so next week, September 7th through the 14th is National Suicide Prevention Month. And I just encourage you to learn more at suicidepreventionfoundation.org. I believe it's sfp.org, but just Google it. If not, you can contact me and really learn the many efforts that are being done right here in Ossining, in our county, in our state, when it comes to addressing an epidemic that hits at home. So I just wanted to announce that. And the Ossining Chamber is preparing their annual schmooze. The location is yet to be determined, but I encourage you to get involved and see how you could sponsor or attend. You can reach them by calling 914-941-0009. And that's all I got for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Trustee Quesada?
Yes. No one else has any?
Oh, we'll just go down the row now.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to echo what Mayor had mentioned early today in regards to starting school tomorrow. Just keep in mind, not only additional time it needs to be taken, but also to obey the laws in regards to the school buses. They need to see the stop sign along the school to please stop. And that it becomes a safety issue in that regard. So please obey the laws. Not only that, I do have an additional item. Continuing with the Coffee with a Cop that our police department has done a great job in the past couple months. Now we have a new date, September 14, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And this one's going to be held in Karma Lounge. And that one is 175 Main Street here in Ossining. And part of this is an effort as well to bring the Spanish community into the conversations and things of issues that they may have. And any questions in general, I think anybody is welcome to come to these events. So please join our police department at Karma Lounge, September 14 from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Yes, Trustee Codman.
I want to remind everybody, the Village of Ossining every year does a memorial for 9/11, and that'll take place on Friday, September 11th at 7 p.m. At the Ossining waterfront. It'll be a memorial to honor those who served and sacrificed on that day. All of our emergency services folks will be there from OVAC and the police and also the fire department. And I think a couple other communities may also be involved. So it's a really nice event, and it's great to raise those people up for their bravery and their sacrifice. Thank you. I'm good.
Madam Clerk.
Okay, we'll move on to our administrative reports, and we'll begin with our village manager, Abraham Zambrano.
Good evening, Mayor and trustees. I would like to inform you of a couple of things. The first one is that the department heads continue to work on the budget requests for 2016. We're looking to be able to deliver a proposed budget as reported last week during the work session under the tax cap legislation by introducing some efficiencies. Some of the major ticket items are going to be health insurance, workers' compensation, and general liability insurance. As you probably know, those are very large items, part of the budget. Other items include the possible restructuring of intermunicipal agreements and the implementation of a new accounting software that will allow the village staff to perform tasks more efficiently. The new software will also allow the village, if we do go ahead with it, to email utility bills, and we will also be able to accept credit card payment, among other things. And I'm sure, well, this topic we're going to bring to the next work session so that you can give us some guidance, and hopefully we can come to you at the next legislative meeting approving the acquisition or the purchase of the software. The other thing I wanted to mention is the walkway along the Sing Sing Kilbrook is scheduled to be completed this fall. Once it is completed, we will notify you and the public, of course, and I would imagine we may want to have a ribbon cutting ceremony so that we can open it to the public. The project was started a while ago, but I know that it has been, we had some delays because of part of the construction, but the stairs on the west side of the project are in the process of being completed, as well as the access area near behind the community center will be also completed in a relatively in the next few weeks. The end near the community center will be accessible to everybody, but the stairs on the west side of the walkway, there's some stairs, so it will not be handicap accessible. So and until the village, until we decide to make the extension from Central Avenue down to Water Street, then it will be accessible by everybody. We will be applying for a grant that will allow the village to install interpretive signage along the way also, and that's through the Greenway, New York State Greenway. Today also we were able to start the electric charging stations at the DPW garage property. The charging stations and the installation was funded by NYSERDA, and the project itself is a collaboration between the village and the town of Ossining. So again, the charging stations are now open. Lastly, I would like to once again congratulate Trustee Herrera on his move to Albany. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I wish you much success in Albany.
Thank you.
That's it. That's all I have.
We will move on to Corporation Counsel Lori Lee Dixon.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
In addition to the items for resolution this evening, I just wanted to remind everyone that on September 12th in Market Square, in celebration of National Yoga Day, there will be free yoga in Market Square in the morning at 10 o'clock, and immediately after that there'll be a free Zumba class with the instructor coming from La Brea. So I just wanted to add that to the list of items available over the next couple of weeks for the public. My weekly reminder that tag sale signs should be taken down from the locations they've been posted within 24 hours of the event. I made a sweep today, and my car, the front seat's quite full. I just want to remind folks it's dangerous. In some cases, the signs are quite large, and you have to pull out into an intersection to see around them. And it's the law, and we would expect everyone to be courteous and abide by the law. In addition, if you see signs up that you find are outdated, I would suggest you take them down and put them in for your recycling, because all of those pieces of paper are recyclable, and it would be an asset to the community to remove the signs on behalf of your neighbors who may have been forgetful. I just want to point out that based upon your discussion last week, you're going to be increasing the membership of the Ossining Arts Committee, so there is a item I on your agenda this evening where you're going to be taking the group from 8 individuals to 10 individuals. So you had 8 charter members and you're adding 2 potential positions. So this will allow you to start advertising for those 2 extra positions. It's a very exciting committee, and we had a wonderful report from the chair of the committee at the last work session. So I put it on for this evening to increase that membership and to move that forward. Also, you had asked for me to put on a resolution authorizing the further phases of the engineering services contract. So that is on. This is the Spring Street two-way. As you know, you authorized the total contract, but you specifically asked for the first 2 phases to be completed. So we're moving now through the rest of the phases to completion, and I just put it on so it was clear in the record that you're moving on to complete phases that will lead to the completion of the project itself. And also, there's a call for a public hearing on introductory local law number 7. If you recall, there was some confusion as to the inadvertent removal of signs. So this is a clarification law, and it just It doesn't change the law in the area. It simply clarifies to make it easier for the public to understand what the rules are for parking along Van Cortlandt Avenue. So that's on this evening, and the public hearing will be at your next legislative session in 2 weeks. Thank you.
We will move on to organizational announcements. Is there anyone that has an organizational announcement? Not seeing any. We'll move on to village board resolutions. Is there anyone to address the board on the resolutions?
How you doing? Quantel Bazemore, 170 Spring Street. Question about Resolution E. So, phases 1 and 2 are now complete, and they cost $43,000, or?
That's the clarification. The total contract cost was $43,550, which the board authorized previously.
Okay.
But they specifically asked the contractor to begin with phases 1 and 2, since those are now completed and the report was brought forward last week. They wanted to be sure that the public understood that now they can, the rest of the phases will then follow.
And so the rest of the phases is going to be this amount, or is it going to be more?
No, this is the total of phases 1 through, I think it's 8.
Okay. And so that's the actual expansion of the street and the
This is-
sidewalks, or?
This is the design phase.
Okay.
Mazer Engineering is the design contractor.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Linda. I didn't see that one.
Yep.
Letter F. It's at least 8 years now I've informed village administration that there were a gross number of errors in the code book. I'm especially concerned that Walden Road, where I've parked my car overnight for 31 years, is not included in the code book. Mary Ann Roberts, village clerk, gave me this. You're clarifying Van Cortlandt. Here's a list of all the streets for one side, streets designated for one side overnight parking. Walden Road still is not here. Does it take an act of Congress to get Walden Road on here? Someone has a time to recently amend something that has to do with the weight of a vehicle. And now it's Van Cortlandt Avenue, correction for Section 250 of Village Code. And I think all of you know I pay attention to this code, very much so. Why could not Walden Road be included? Why isn't it included? It's a simple thing.
And the signage on the street indicates that parking is permitted, and you park there and you are not ticketed. However, it's not acknowledged as permissible parking with a permit overnight. Okay.
It's a clerical error. It's actually in a draft of the parking law that's coming to you at the next work session.
But what I'm getting
it's
at,
in
Mayor.
there. I think it's going to be introductory local law number 8. Yes, all of the
8 years I'm trying to get my street where I park on here, and what gets me is Van Cortlandt is on here. Is Walden Road an orphan? I can't talk. Please don't talk to me. I don't like you. I cannot acknowledge you. You are very rude to our chief. I'm sorry, Mayor. I feel this way, and I feel this way.
I'm going to respond anyway. At the next meeting, there's a draft of a resolution to change the code, and Walden Road is part of that resolution, and it will be fixed at that time. Thank you.
And the other solution would be I could move the 2 clerical errors that are going to be in an upcoming law. I could easily move that to introductory local law number 7. I'd be happy to do that if the board wants to do that.
That would be getting it done sooner?
Yes.
Sooner is better.
I have there are 2 or 3 other clerical errors that have been noted over the years, and I have them incorporated into the on-street or the off-street parking. But since it's on-street, it would be a logical thing, and I'd be happy to add it here. I could revise the local law and get it circulated tomorrow.
Okay, then do we need to revise that before we call for the public hearing? Do we need
No.
to acknowledge that it
No.
will include more than Van Cortlandt Avenue? We don't?
No.
Okay.
I'll get it on and circulate that tomorrow to revise the public notice and the local law.
Thank you, Lori Lee.
Yes, Linda?
Couldn't it have been added to this resolution?
That's what she just did. She just asked if we would like to add it to this resolution, and we have. So we'll have we've.
Right over my head.
Yes.
It'll be done.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
Government is so swift.
Now.
All right. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Not seeing any, we'll move on to the adoption of resolutions. Resolve the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of the August 19th, 2015 regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
Second.
On the board, Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolve the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of the August 26th, 2015 special meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Wait, can you second it?
I don't think you can second a motion that you...
Would somebody else like to second? Thank you. On the board, Madam Clerk?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye. Because?
One abstention.
I was not here, sorry.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated September 2nd, 2015, in the amount of $663,577.92. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board, Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, we did that one. On to the next one. Whereas by resolution of May 6, 2015, the Village Board accepted a proposal from Mazer Consulting, PA, of 11 Bradhurst Avenue, Hawthorne, New York, dated February 13, 2015, for professional services in connection with roadway improvements on Spring Street, and authorized the village manager to enter into an agreement for phased implementation of the enumerated scope of the services totaling $43,550. With immediate authorization to complete phases 1 and 2 for topographic surveying and underground utility markout. And whereas phases 1 and 2 are now complete, and the revised traffic pattern, reduced speed, and reconfigured parking and loading along Spring Street are now codified with the adoption of Local Law Number 6, 2015, on August 5, 2015. Now therefore be resolved that the Village Board hereby authorizes completion of the remaining phases of the scope of services in the proposal from Mazer Consulting, PA, dated February 13, 2015. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board.
Well,
One moment. We're deciding. Does anybody want to comment on this?
I do. So, I've been giving a lot of thought this whole project, and I just, I'm a little concerned with the potential cost. I'm calling it potential because we still don't know the final direction the board will take when it comes to the project. So, potential cost of close to, I think we heard $400,000 last year or more, depending on how advanced we want to go with the construction. Personally, I'm just with the other budget items and cost and use for funds, I just can't continue supporting a project that I don't think is a priority right this minute, even though I was part of a board that started it. I'm not saying we should stop it, but I just don't think it's a priority right this minute, and we have much bigger items to consider. So I just wanted to put that on the record.
Interesting.
No.
Yeah, I can speak on that too. When we started this and we started the process, none of us realized the actual scope, that at the end of this is going to cost over, upwards of $500,000 to change one street and do an intersection. And I agree with Trustee Herrera that that's not what I was thinking. I was appalled when I heard that it would cost like over $100,000 to change the street light. I would like to see in the next phase options that cost less. I would like to see an option to scale this back to something that's more affordable in these incredibly difficult budgetary times. I want to see crosswalks so that people can get across the street safely. That's important. But I don't think we need to spend $500,000 to do that. So I'd like to see a scaled back version of this.
If I may, Madam Mayor, if I
Certainly.
may, you've committed the funding for the design of this, and it does not commit you to further action.
Well, correct.
Correct.
I want to
So-
see choices
So-
in the design.
Right, and I just wanted to clarify that on the record, that this doesn't commit you to spend further money.
We know that.
Okay,
Right.
just clarifying.
We got him. Good.
Yeah, I guess I think Lori Lee kind of spoke for me. I think that it's very important that we have shovel-ready projects. It's very important that we do all our homework, make sure we understand what it is that needs to be done, do this project in a proper way. If we don't have the money to do it, yeah, we need to get alternatives. But it's very important that we do our homework because every once in a while, the state, county, or even the federal government might have an opportunity for us. And if we do our homework and we put this together, we have a shovel-ready project that we could get some funding and maybe we could really make a nice downtown for ourselves and we could get some of that federal money back. So that's why I'm going to vote for this tonight. And I certainly agree with my fellow trustees about the financial elements of this and the numbers that we're looking at. But hopefully we'll have some alternatives and hopefully we will be able to fund this without we'll be able to get it done in a proper way. Thank you.
If I may, well, thank you. If I recall correctly, we knew this project when we started talking about this last year, how much was going to be. We knew that the street light was going to be about $100,000. So when I actually watched the work session from last week, I was surprised in some of the stuff that was phase two, so to speak, but I was not surprised at the amount of how much the project was going to be. So that being said, I am supporter of this. I am going to vote yes, and I concur with John in regards to that we definitely have different alternatives to get some additional money at some point, hopefully with something ready for us to have. We had a grant application not too long ago when they were looking for something that it was need to be ready, like yesterday. Kind of didn't have that much of alternatives for that. So I'm supportive with this. I think it will increase and it will make our downtown even better than what it is now and improve what we actually are looking for us to have as a downtown.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your opinions. Since before I got on the Board of Trustees over 3 years ago now, there has been conversation about the importance. It was critical. It was a significant part of the decision-making of the comprehensive plan several years ago that it was very important to make Spring Street a two-way. Not everybody in the community agreed with that, but every person on this board that I've ever served with has been adamant about it. We listened to the public. We've listened to traffic people. We've gone back and forth with engineers and specialists, and it's never been any question that we have been told over and over again by experts and by elected officials that we need to make Spring Street a two-way. We did that a year and a half ago with a pilot program. And that pilot program is essentially what is still in place right now. That is not the best long-term, safest way to direct traffic and pedestrians in our downtown, in our most significant intersection. So I'm adamant, and I'm pleased that it sounds like we do have enough support to continue moving forward on this, because otherwise, what the heck have we been doing for all these years? Madam Clerk.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Go on for public hearing. Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby calls for a public hearing to take place at the Birdsall-Fagan Police Court Facility, 8688 Spring Street in Ossing on September 16th, 2015 at 7:30 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard, to consider the matter of introductory local law number 7, 2015, entitled Vehicle and Traffic Law Revisions, a local law to reiterate and clarify on-street parking, regulations along various streets, including Walden Road and Van Cortlandt Avenue. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board? Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the 2015 Water Fund budget is modified, transferred appropriations for a partial retirement of a bond anticipation note as follows. Decrease Water Fund appropriation, account number 002-8320-0512, account name, source of supply, power and pumping, purchase of water from New York City, $182,000. Increase Water Fund appropriations, account number 002-9730-0600, bond anticipation notes, principal, $130,000. 002-9730-0700, bond anticipation note interest, $52,000, for a total increase to a Water Fund appropriation of $182,000. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board? Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now, it is my understanding that Resolution H will be tabled at this juncture?
And moved to continuing business
Yes,
of the
ma'am.
board.
Okay, may I have a for discussion, may I have a motion to table the preferred developer status at 200 Main Street?
So moved.
Second.
On the board? Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas by resolution adopted on March 18, 2015, the Village Board established the Ossining Arts Committee and appointed 8 individuals to initial terms as its charter members, and whereas 2 members have resigned, resulting in 2 vacancies in unexpired terms. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby appoints Mark Sarrazin to an unexpired term of membership, which will run until December 2017. And be it further resolved that upon the recommendation of the Ossining Arts Committee, the Village Board hereby expands the membership of the committee from 8 to 10 members and authorizes the advertisement for potential candidates to fill all vacant seats. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I wasn't here for the work session from last week.
Whereas due to a reevaluation of budgetary needs, the Special Purpose Fund, titled the Downtown Development Fund, the Village Board of the Village of Ossining has decided that it will no longer fund the position of Manager of Downtown and Economic Development. Therefore, be it resolved that effective September 30th, 2015, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby abolishes the position of Manager of Downtown and Economic Development, having the competitive civil service title of Economic Development Specialist. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
On the board? Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution adopting an arts and culture policy in the Village of Ossining. Whereas the village recognizes the support of the arts and culture has become a matter of public policy, with arts and culture not merely being an add-on or a luxury, but an essential component of the quality of life. And support of the arts and culture is an investment in the future of the community. And whereas the Village of Ossining desires to foster organizations, individuals, programs, processes, legal classifications, and institutions which promote arts and cultural diversity and accessibility, as well as enhance and promulgate the artistic, ethnic, socio-linguistic, literary, and other expressions of all people, and whereas our homegrown artists, arts organizations, and audiences are what make for a viable arts economy in our village. The village believes that supporting these individuals, programs, and organizations is part of an investment that will make the arts sustainable in the long term and in turn reward the village on a myriad of levels. And whereas advocates have successfully demonstrated the benefits of the arts investment in economic, social, and educational terms, and the village understands that the importance and impacts of the arts and cultures cut across multiple areas of government policies, from economic development to education, and whereas the village believes that a small investment of resources in the arts and culture, both human and monetary, can exponentially strengthen the economy of a community by promoting tourism, revitalizing the core commercial district, and attracting businesses to expand local job opportunities. And whereas the village acknowledges that the arts and cultural development can play a central role in urban revitalization and community renewal by attracting tourism, providing diverse employment opportunities, building a strong workforce through the development and creative industries, and perhaps even most importantly, by offering positive alternatives and focus to troubled or ambivalent youth. Now therefore be it resolved that the village board hereby expresses a strong commitment to the arts and culture in the village of Ossining and adopts an arts and cultural policy calling on the community to raise awareness, attract, sustain, nurture, promote, support, and foster the arts and culture as a way to address a wide array of civic concerns for the benefit of all of its residents and the health and the well-being of the village as a whole. And be it further resolved that the village board hereby supports the recently established Ossining Arts Committee in its effort to meet its mission to forge a cohesive link between all the arts groups and individual artists in Ossining, enabling them to work together more efficiently and effectively, and to use this synergy to nurture the arts in Ossining, establishing it as a creative, artistic hub. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board.
No, I was going to say second.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd like to just say that I'm so glad that we're doing this. We have a great arts committee. If anybody who saw Henry Weld last week, the chair of the committee, talk about some of the things that the committee's doing. The arts are a reflection of our culture and our society, and I think that this group is going to do some really great work to engender that, bring that to our community. So I'm thankful for everybody's support tonight.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now, you have to bear with me here. We have a couple changes in the fire departments. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the fire chief, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby places Michael Benelli as a driver with the fire department. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board.
Yeah, I'm very proud that Mike Benelli passed his driver's test. Mike moved here from Croton, where he was on the rescue company in the fire department there, and he is now the second lieutenant in charge of training for Rescue 14, and passed his driver's test. Drivers are key, and in a volunteer department, you need a lot of them to make sure that the apparatus gets where it needs to be when it needs to be there. So thank you to Mike and all the drivers and everyone in the fire department for everything they do.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And this one is not on your agenda. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the fire chief, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby places Preston Denard on driver training for the fire department. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board. Madam Clerk.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now we have our continuing business of the board.
That would be Resolution H, or a discussion of the developer status of 200 Main Street. And I need to begin by, Lori Lee, should it be introduced first, or should I just go ahead and make my statement? And I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to speak to my colleagues. After speaking with council as well as representative from NICOM, I need to recuse myself from this discussion because just to remove any question of impropriety, my husband has business dealings with one of the interested parties.
For what?
For 200 Main Street. We're about
Thank
to
you.
discuss 200 Main
I
Street.
apologize. I didn't hear the beginning.
Yes. So I will sit back, and you, sir, are now the chair of this discussion.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Garrity. Do we have the pleasure of the board to give preferred developer status to 200 Main Street to...
It should be, that's how essential. The conversation...
This is a generalized public discussion about the three entities and the board's preference in establishing one of them as a preferred developer.
To be clear, the three that have made the presentation
for the board,
not not your husband, right?
No, not
No.
at all. No.
Oh,
He
I
just
see.
has business dealings with one of them. So
Yes.
just so that I'm not,
You're not
I'm
really-
not messing anything up. So I'm
Got it.
stepping back.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So for the benefit of the public, I thought it was important for you to have a discussion this evening about the three options and a generalized discussion about your feelings about going in one direction or another, or a process or procedure.
Yes. Would any of my colleagues like to speak
No,
on
you
this?
go ahead.
Well, I mean, I don't have my notes from the work session, and to be honest with you, I'd want to make sure I have the names of each of the individual companies that are noted and made proposals. If you can just give me the three names, I can speak to each of them. I know what each of them did, and I know each of their presentations. I thought I had them on my pad here, but I
Just a
don't.
surprise.
I don't have them, so.
Because it was an executive session.
Since this is a matter of real estate, if we could move this to executive session for further discussion, if I could have.
I believe we had initial discussion in executive session last week for purposes of real estate, so that's why we wanted to bring it forward, because you wanted it to be a resolution on this evening for discussion.
Well, okay. Well, then, in that case, then I would like to table this, if I have the consensus of my colleagues.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I know we talked about it last week. I know we did go to executive session to talk about it. I was frankly surprised when I saw this on the agenda tonight. I didn't realize we were going to put it on for public discussion. I would frankly like to gather my thoughts about this and be able to speak to it in a coherent and clear way. We had the benefit of having all the information in front of us, executive session, and I don't have that in front of me now. So that would be my preference, and I'm happy to discuss it in a work session, which I had thought was going to be the way we were going to do it, was discuss it in a work session, not have it in a legislative session. So I realize that kind of kicks the can down the road here, but
I apologize for the confusion, but actually some of the the directives that we understood was that you wanted it here tonight, and then
Yes,
we'll bring it to.
Yes, to the public watching, I apologize for any confusion or anything that give you any other impression. We are going to move forward with the discussion of giving one of the three developers preferred developer status until we all feel we can do that. We are going to table this item.
Yeah, I think we need a motion. I'd like to make a motion to table this motion for further discussion at the next work session.
Did you, if I may, it's more like definitely my fault because I was absent last week, and I think that some of the discussions happened at an executive session last Wednesday. That being said, we will have a small conversation tonight again in regards to this property. And maybe what we can do just to kind of expedite some of the stuff next Wednesday, our work session, we can definitely have in a special session in regards to this and solve that matter that way as well. So we can do that. I wouldn't mind tabling this item next week.
Do I have a second? Trustee Giurai made the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
No.
Aye. Yeah.
Oh.
Aye.
Okay, aye. You confused me. It's not
You made a motion, second.
But that's not your job.
All in favor?
It can be.
I heard the words,
Thank
but
you
they
for
didn't come
bearing
out of
with us.
Mary Ann's mouth. It's confusing me. You're throwing your voice.
All right. So we have no further continuing business of the board. We will move on to new business of the board.
We do. Oh, I'm sorry. We have more continuing business?
We have new business that I don't know if, are you going to talk about a cabaret license?
I am.
Oh, okay, all right.
I was given this to do, so.
Okay.
I've been given the assignment to, under new business, bring up a cabaret license for 175 Main Street, which is Karma Lounge. Whereas, pursuant to Chapter 100 and 171 of the Code of the Village of Ossining, Karma Lounge has made application to the village clerk as licensing officer for a cabaret license for live music on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays and Sundays from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., and whereas pursuant to Section 100-3 and 100-5 of said village code, the village clerk has caused investigation into said application and referred the same to the Board of Trustees for final approval. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves a cabaret license for Karma Lounge for the calendar year 2015. For the purposes of discussions, I make that motion.
For a second?
Second.
On the board? Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
For the purposes of discussion?
Well, I thought people wanted to say something. Apparently they didn't.
You're all
Well,
supportive.
Just to clarify, so I'm sorry if I
Go
may.
ahead.
Just to clarify that actually Karma does have a cabaret license that had expired, so it's more like a renewal for this establishment. So yes.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now, under new business, we also have a resolution authorizing execution of grant application for funds under the New York State 2015 Greenway Conservancy Trail Grant Program. Whereas the Village of Ossining is applying to the Hudson River Valley Greenway for a grant under the 2015 Greenway Conservancy Trail Grant Program for a project known as the Kilbrook Trail and Walkway to be located in the village. And whereas said grant application requires the applicant to obtain the approval and endorsement of the municipality in which the project will be located. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village Board of the Village of Ossining hereby approves and endorses an application for a grant under the 2015 Greenway Conservancy Trail Grant Program for a project known as the Kilbrook Trail and Walkway and located within the Village of Ossining.
So moved.
Second.
On the board?
All those in
Well, I think there should be a bit of a discussion, right? Yes, Manager Zambrano,
I just
please.
want to make sure that it's clear to the board and to the public that this is not for the trail itself. This is for signage related to the trail. So it's not, the trail has already been almost completely done. So this is for signage, or anything that has to do with the trail itself, but not for the actual construction of the trail.
Because the trail's already there.
Correct.
Yes.
Do we know what the dollar amount is for the grant, or?
Maximum of $10,000.
Okay. Is this a grant outright, or is there a match? How does it work?
Matching.
It's a match, okay.
I just want to be clear, I would have put all of that in the resolution, but they gave us a standard resolution that all the municipalities have to pass the same resolution, or I would have put all those facts.
Got it.
But
Right. Okay.
sometimes
Thank
when
you.
you do
Fair
that,
enough.
the state will send it back and say, no, we want it this way. So
And this,
I apologize.
And this is a grant that came to our attention just last week, and so we thank Recreation Superintendent Christopher Soy and Deputy and Department of Public Works Supervisor Village Engineer Paul Frioli for collaborating to get this together with Corporation Council for us in such a quick fashion. So thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that completes your resolutions for this evening. And we'll move on to visitor recognition.
No. We still have new business. Oh, resolutions, yes, I'm sorry, but we have more new business. Can we do that before we do visitor recognition? Yes. We do. And I need that microphone again. In fact, we all, don't we all want to do this during new business?
We're doing this now, right?
Yeah, we're doing this now. Let's go, let's everybody get down.
Okay.
Deputy Mayor Herrera.
I'm very sorry.
No, we didn't give you a heads up on this one, sorry. So, that's very loud. Okay. This is your last meeting.
It is.
What's wrong? And it's been a real pleasure to work with you and to campaign with you and to be serving here with you. And as happy as we are for your new ventures and as incredibly proud as we are to have you representing Ossining in your new role, we're going to miss you very much. So we have a proclamation that talks about a few of the wonderful things you've done for our community, and bear with me while I read all of them. A proclamation in honor of Omar J. Herrera. whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining recognizes individuals who have shown exemplary commitment and dedication to the community and acknowledges outstanding service which contributes to the quality of life in Ossining. And whereas Village Trustee and Deputy Mayor Omar J. Herrera, a lifelong resident of Ossining and proud graduate of Ossining High School, has an impressive record of community service. He is a member of the Ossining Volunteer Fire Department, an honorary member of Rotary International in Ossining, and vice president of the Westchester Young Democrats. Additionally, Omar has served as a community coordinator for legislator Catherine Borgia and a board member to the Greater Ossining Chamber of Commerce. And whereas Omar's tenure on the village board, during his tenure, he has effectuated a more effective, transparent, and accountable municipality, which includes restoring video recording of public comment section during board meetings, passing of the Raise the Wage resolution, adopting a complete streets policy, hiring a new village manager, selecting a new police chief and 5 new officers, promoting deserving and proven individuals, expanded the Downtown Development Council. And whereas Omar has resigned from his position on the village board to embark on an exciting opportunity in public service, which will allow him to expand his service and have greater impact as he serves all of the people of New York State. And whereas the residents, merchants, and employees of the village of Ossining have benefited greatly from Omar's commitment to our community, and it is appropriate that he is recognized for his dedicated service. Now therefore I, Victoria Garrity, Mayor of the Village of Ossining, on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the residents of the village, do hereby express deep appreciation to Omar J. Herrera for his service and proclaim Monday, September 7th, 2015, as Omar J. Herrera Day in the Village of Ossining, and urge all of our residents to join in honoring him.
Would you like to say anything?
I would, yeah, thank you. First of all, I'm going to start off with, now I could officially call her Vic, but I'll always know her as Mayor Garrity. It's been a journey. I can speak, at least at this part, on behalf of the whole board. Despite our obstacles and our challenges, the board we have thrived. The village continues to be better than we were when we all started as a new team this new year. I have to thank everyone who's here today, from our clerk to our corporation counsel to our village manager, assistant village manager, all our department heads for teaming up with a person that has a new perspective and new philosophy, but is embraced by all my colleagues. And for those of you that are watching, thank you so much for putting your faith in me and believing in me and pushing me up. I owe a lot of my efforts and my success at a village, county, and state level. It all started here in Ossining, and Ossining will always be in my heart. I will continue to be a resident of Ossining. You'll see me on weekends and around town. I want to acknowledge my parents who are here tonight, my mom and my sister and her fiance, and my new 2-month-old nephew who's here. And for those of you watching, continue to work with the board. Any feedback, you may not agree with everyone here, but that's government, but continue to make sure that your input builds others up and is part of a solution. I look forward to continue to see Ossining thrive and get where we need to be, and thank you.
Did you want to say anything?
I'll say a thing very quickly. I've known Omar a very long time, and as you heard in Victoria's proclamation, he's done more in his short life than many people do in a lifetime of service. I expect him to go on to great things, and I can't wait to see the adventure unfold. So, thank you, Omar.
Thank you. Thank you. Mom and Dad, do you want to take a picture with Omar up here in front of the seal? No?
Okay.
Shy mom,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Then we can move on to visitor recognition.
We now move into visitor recognition. Is anyone who came to address the board?
Yes? Oh. They are, but that's okay. You can go first. You can go first, Linda. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Linda. You're up now.
Thank you. My name is Linda A.
I know.
I live in Ellis Place. For entertainment purposes and education, I sit in Ossining Court on Tuesdays, afternoon for building department cases. In case none of you realize it, there is a serious problem in the building department. The other day, a certificate of occupancy was given to the judge as evidence by the building department. Unfortunately, it was not signed. Someone in this department got a subpoena. I served a subpoena, came to court, and he failed to bring the files with him. And I won't soon forget that 31 apartments on Main Street were built undersized, even though the building department reviewed the plans. I must thank Abraham Zambrano, who deserves a raise, for taking action when I called him about my neighbor's steps. I'm only kidding. You make enough money for now. For now. But you would like me to support you, I know it. On July 10th, I called him with something that really upset me, what was going on at my neighbor's house. He left his office. I did not see him go there. He went to my neighbor's house, and this is what I heard. It could be wrong. Told the contractor, finish work on the steps. He went above and beyond, and I am so proud of you. I think of you every night. Every morning you're in my prayers, along with Thomas. Thank you for that profusely. Somebody called me and said, Linda, anybody who's asking me when I should do work in my house, I tell them do it on a Saturday. They all ask me, do I need a permit? No, not if you do the work on a Saturday. I want to change one window in my house. I need a permit for replacement window? That is the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. If I want to repaint my bedroom, do I need a permit? I tell everybody, if you need work done in your house, this is for the general public. Get your carpenter, whoever, go do it on a Saturday when building department's not around. And also, you are not required to allow a building inspector into your house. He might go in to check a window. He will give you a dozen violations for smoke alarm, bad paint job. I'm exaggerating a bit. I'm really down on the building department because they are Gestapos. The department is not concerned with the safety of Ossining residents. To me, they're concerned with the money and how many violations they can give out. Why should someone need a permit to replace one window? It's a replacement window. The woman needed architectural drawings to replace steps, front porch steps. Forgive me the way I say this. Who's getting a kickback with these architects? The building department is giving out, I'll finish this one sentence, please.
One sentence.
The building department gives out a list of architects that are available. They don't do this for roofers. So again, I say this somewhat kiddingly. Who's getting a kickback from the architects?
Thank you.
You've got to stop this department.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
Sir?
This is big.
If you would please just acknowledge your name and
Sure, I'm
where you
Dennis
live.
Strogan.
Thank you.
I'm Dennis Strogan.
Thank
I
you.
live here in Ossining. That should be suffice enough. I think the building department does a great job. It needs to kind of be expanded a little bit more so they can be a little bit harder on all the tough living situations for people here in the town. There's lots of different topics I'd like to talk about, but apparently it's time. So, illegal housing. Time sleeping inside the town shouldn't happen. Doesn't happen anywhere else. Doesn't happen in Yonkers. Need to get the inspectors inside these homes. Taxes for the house. Nobody's paying their equal share. So I'd like to see that happen. A lot of assessors did not get into homes up and down the block from where I live versus on the other side Ossining as well. So I'd really like to see something come along that would help our deficit right now and pay for all these wonderful things that we've been talking about to make the town better. I'm dealing with volleyball courts and the stuff that's going on, illegal gambling, drinking, food being sold, tons of things are going on in the town. We need to kind of, cut back on certain things that we think is going well, or listening to things that could possibly do better, and just focus more on our community, focus more on our education, stopping everything and enforcing and ticketing people that are doing things wrong. I don't know how to go about these things, so I'm just bringing it to the attention of the board. I spoke to a couple people on the board, seem to agree on certain things and disagree on others. But where do I go from here?
Thank you, Mr. Drogan.
Thank you.
Manager Zambrano, can I offer you to either reach out to the village manager by email
Please do.
or by calling? The phone number is 914-941-3554, or it's azambrano@villageofossining.org.
And I can give my card after the meeting.
Is there anyone else who's come to address the board? Not seeing anyone, might I have a motion to adjourn to executive session for personnel?
So moved.
Second.
The board. Madam Clerk.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh, is it for personnel? It's not for personnel. We have to amend that. We'd like to adjourn to executive session for a discussion of real property and to obtain the advice of legal.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All right. With that, thank you very much for joining us for a very full and spirited, again, meeting. I hope you will join us again next week for the work session at Village Hall. We'll be at 16 Croton Avenue beginning at 7:30 on Wednesday, September 9th. Have a good evening.